Good morning, Stewart's Chapel. Brother Don Pierson here, and Don Counts, and we're in Shirley Thrasher's room. I am sitting in Shirley's chair. I bet she'll be glad when she can sit here in this chair, and some of you ladies can be right here with her. We're in Jonah. It's Thursday, and we're in Jonah chapter 4, verses 1 through 4. But it displeased Jonah. Well, that's an understatement. It displeased Jonah. It caused Jonah incredible discomfort. Exceedingly. It displeased Jonah exceedingly. Well, what displeased Jonah? Do you know? Well, what displeased Jonah was that the people of Nineveh listened to his message. That they not only listened, but they believed his message. That they believed that God was going to judge them, and they believed it, and they truly repented. And because they repented, God showed mercy. That's what made Jonah exceedingly angry. I don't know, if I was called to preach to a city as wicked as Nineveh, and I got this kind of response, I'd be crying, jumping up and down for joy. I would be totally, very happy. But Jonah wasn't. There's some reasons behind that. You see, these are the people that, according to Psalms, that marched into Israel, ripped open pregnant women, seized their child from within them, and took their legs like a baseball bat and beat their heads against the stone. They did that over and over again. They raped the women. They took them captive. They showed no mercy. Jonah doesn't want mercy to be shown to Nineveh. In fact, when Jonah goes back home and people find out that he's the one that brought the message for mercy on Nineveh, there's not going to be a lot of people that are going to be jumping up and down for joy because of what Nineveh did. You see, they really wanted God to judge them. Jonah wanted God to judge them. He did not want them to repent. It made him very angry. So he prayed. This is not the first time he prayed. He's going to pray again. Very different prayer than when he had in the fish. Have you not noticed that we often pray differently in a fish than we do when we're on dry ground? So he prayed to the Lord and said, "Ah, Lord, was not this what I said when I was still in my country?" In other words, he's shaking his finger at God and saying, "I told you so. Did I not tell you this? Therefore, I fled previously to Tarshish. For I know that you are a gracious and merciful God, slow to anger, abundant in loving kindness." Chesed, that's the Hebrew word chesed, it's very common. Kind, gentle, loving God. One who relents from doing harm. Therefore now, O Lord, please take my life from me. For it is better for me to die than to live. Basically saying he should have just let me die in the storm or let me die in the fish. You need to kill me. It would be better for me to die than live. Then the Lord said to him, "Is it right for you to be angry?" That's where we're going to stop. Is it right for you to be angry? Everything that Jonah is angry about, all the characteristics of God that makes him mad now, are the very characteristics that he took delight in when he was in the fish. It's amazing how a few days, it's only been 3 days, remember, it's a 3 days journey across the message. It's amazing how a few days can cause us to forget God's loving, gracious kindness, long-suffering, gentleness, and forgiveness. It doesn't happen often, But through my years of ministry, there's been more times than I care to remember where there's someone who had experienced incredible forgiveness by God became angry with God because of someone who they felt had harmed them or done them great harm, found that same kind of forgiveness. They just didn't think it was fair. It wasn't fair when they got it. They understood that and they understood the grace, but they just didn't think it was fair for the person that abused them, abandoned them, or whatever, found the same God. That's where Jonah is. Jonah doesn't have any problem in receiving the mercy and graces and forgiveness of God. But he doesn't want just anyone else receiving it. He doesn't have a problem if some of the Jews and some of the other good people and even the sailors, he doesn't have a problem with that. But he doesn't want his enemies receiving it. Nineveh is the heart city of his enemies. So how are you? You hear the Lord's question? Do you think it's right for you to be angry? Is there someone that if you were to see them in Walmart, you would go out the other door? Is there someone that the Lord brings to your mind every time you try to pray and you just stop praying? Is there someone that if they were to walk into our worship service, you probably would go out the other doors, move to the other side? It's pretty sad, isn't it, when we want God to be loving and kind and gracious and long-suffering and forgiving, but we just don't want Him to be that way to those who have despitefully used us or hurt us. Love you, Stewart's Chapel.